Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. We're going to jump straight into this video that digital asset investor had put up. He says this video should give Saylor and Max Keiser nightmares. So let's take a quick listen into this.
January 3rd, 2009 is the singularity. That's the point at which Satoshi Nakamoto developed the technology to transfer value through space without a trusted third party.
So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, what was called Black Market Reloaded, they were sending weapons through packages and ordering them on the dark web. And he was really, really smart, forward-leaning agent. And he goes, I want to go interview Satoshi Nakamoto.
Most people don't realize this, but Satoshi opened a portal from the physical realm into the digital realm, and energy began to flow into cyberspace.
And we're like, what? He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we're like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters. And we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works.
If you want a roadmap for how you create a commodity, you have to do it the way Satoshi did it. You create a protocol, you give it to the world, you disclaim beneficial ownership of it, you disclaim control of it, and you disappear. That's what Satoshi did.
And they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what their reason for it was.
If you want a crypto asset to be a commodity, you can't rely upon 4 engineers.
So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people.
They either absolutely know who your leader is or they don't. And if they don't, then the organization is considered a non-state actor to them. And if they do, then they have a lot more power than you think. And that would be that creates a vulnerability within the organization that should be considered. Find cryptocurrency, this world, extraordinarily interesting because more will be revealed.
So, and that's something that we covered in one of our previous videos. And the crazy thing is, like, if you have Michael Saylor and the likes, Matt Keiser and all these maxis, right, claiming all these things, investing, billions and billions of dollars into this so-called, anonymous, unfounded, unknown person, right? But then you have, these 3-letter agencies or these people in, high positions within the government sending agents to go meet with these 4 Satoshi Nakamoto representatives of Bitcoin. Where is that distinction? Like, where do you draw that line of like, bro, you're crazy, or what are you really risking? Why are you avoiding the inevitable? Why don't you want to know who they sent that agent to speak with? Or do you already know? So this whole narrative that they're sending out as of, Satoshi Nakamoto's wall has never been touched, and no one knows who it is, and this is the way of the future. It's like, okay, cool. Obviously Bitcoin's been massive for the entire industry in general, right? Obviously you got to have a mothership, but it's like to act as if like it's just this safe haven that's untouchable and that's no risk, and it's like, where is the rest of your knowledge? Like, why are you throwing all of your eggs in just one basket as if like there is no liability with it? But you claimed you don't know who's done what. Even if you knew, you're lying to the investors that are investing in you and in your platform to get into Bitcoin. It's just crazy. And then you have that lady at the end. Let me go over here real quick. Yeah, so we covered this when she had this little interview here, and she was talking about cryptocurrency world is extraordinary and there's more will be revealed. It's like, okay, what will be revealed? Are we going to see more government corruption? Are we going to finally figure out who Satoshi Nakamoto is? Are we going to get some regulatory clarity finally? Like, what is it? It's super intriguing to me. As she says, it's fascinating, it's extraordinary, but to act, naive and to put his head in a hole or in the sand and ignore, the blatant, evidence or proof that there is a group of people that are involved in Bitcoin, it just makes no sense. It's wild. But then again, look, you have the SEC chairman Gensler literally stating now, finally, Bitcoin, everything but Bitcoin is a security, right? Okay, so why, if they know who created Bitcoin, why aren't they going after that? Who's all involved in this? And even think about the ETH ICO stuff, right? Hashtag ETHgate. They can easily find out who was, these disguised wolves in the ETH ICO, right? Why aren't they doing it? It's all shady stuff. And it goes beyond that. Look at Congress, who's supposed to be overseeing Chairman Gensler and the SEC. Like, why aren't they taking action based on his, regulation by enforcement and all these wrongdoings? He's trying to fit everything to make everything fit his narrative. And he's creating these new ways of governance and regulating. It all just stinks. And like I said, that big spider web, you just constantly connect more dots. The spider web just keeps getting bigger. And it, quite honestly, it is fascinating. But, all of this naive and blind talk is just merely interesting. We're not idiots. All right, spill over. I wanted to cover this this is from Tony Edwards from Thinking Crypto. He's responding to Blockworks. It says news. Kraken and Coinbase say they're willing to fight the SEC on token listings. So if we come over here, it says finally the exchanges are going on the offensive. I've spoken and tweeted at Brian Armstrong from Coinbase to form a coalition and sue the hell out of the SEC. If all of the U.S. crypto companies come together and sue the SEC, it would have Gary's head spinning. Absolutely. Attack. Not attack. Come at him from all angles. Absolutely. John Deaton says 2 years late, but this is the right approach. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's never too late, right? And that's what he's saying. Hey, 2 years late, but it's never too late to get involved, right? Let's make a difference. You may have made terrible decisions and mistakes in the past, but you can right your wrongs, just like Blockchain Backer said yesterday in his tweets. Stuart Aderati, Ripple's general counsel, says we need to have more frank discussions about what it means to build crypto companies in the U.S. because he's talking about now you have, legal representatives, attorneys and stuff bluntly telling and advising, crypto firms, get out of the US. Don't go in and have conversations, get out of here or don't be transparent because all it is it gets used against you. Continuing on here, James came following saying, quote, blunt advice from crypto firms, get out of the USA. Yeah, that's just sad, especially when you have like United States companies like Ripple, for instance, and you're allowing all these other offshore companies like FTX, if you will, they're constantly meeting with the SEC, and the SEC's trying to, and I'm gonna just say Chairman Gensler, they're trying to create these behind closed backdoor deals, right? And, trying to get, the free pass and give them a FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried the advantage. But then you go after a United States grown company, Ripple, right? When they're extremely transparent, they're trying to do things the right way, and they've been meeting with you for years. And the digital asset that that they utilize within their platform has been around for years and years now. But no, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and FTT token, all that stuff comes around, and it's like, oh, here, let's get you through the door. It's just strange, man. John Deaton says, every lawyer I know is advising clients not to cooperate with the SEC. The environment Gary Gensler has created is to fight back. If a subpoena can be lawfully challenged in court, that's what you do. If SEC lawyers threaten to bankrupt you the way they did Library, file suit. Yeah, stand up and fight. The SEC is going to come after you, even if you settle. I think there was it Blockworks? Had 100 million, or not Blockworks. What was it? I forgot what company it was, but I think they had like $100 million settlement or something crazy. I forgot what the number was. But then again, they ended up getting in trouble again. It's like, why? Then why do it then? You might as well fight back if they're already going to bankrupt you as it is, right? Or like they're trying to do now, develop a coalition, come together with other entities and fight back as a collective. I mean, geez, you would think that that's something that they would have done, especially after the lawsuit was dropped on Ripple and Dragon Chain and the like, right? It's crazy. Watcher Guru says, just saying, SEC chair says crypto exchanges should not be considered safe custodians. Oh boy, here we go. Remember, DAI, Moon Lambo, other YouTubers, my channel as well. Like we've been talking about, this is bigger than the digital asset itself. It's all about the incumbents getting the bigger piece of the pie, right? And custody is a huge portion of it. So what Chairman Gensler and the likes are trying to do is they're trying to stifle things, hinder things, get their tentacles in everything, right? And rein it in to where they can control it. And what they're going to do, they're going to take it all from these DEXs and centralized exchanges and all these other platforms, right, that we utilize. And they're going to hand it off to the existing incumbents. That's literally what it is. And look, here we go. SEC chair says crypto exchanges should not be considered safe custodians. And here's the shameful part about this. Why did a lot of this happen? Remember, we talk about there's no coincidences, right? Why is Chairman Gensler meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, right? Trying to create these deals and set these things and set precedent and give them the free pass, right? One of the biggest frauds of our time, right? If not the biggest. They're using that. What if they set that up? What if that was all part of the plan? Or maybe they got caught, right? So then they have to throw them under the bus. Like, they set all that up, right? And now they're like, okay, we're going to use this to show like, oh, you guys, these crypto exchanges aren't safe. You know, you got these bankrupt companies, and then you got, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and Do Kwon and Terra Luna, right? They're using all that to fuel that narrative, right? It literally fits what they're doing. This is like they have all the power they need and leverage they need, as in showcasing the billions of dollars that's been extracted from and lost in the space from everyday investors, right? And now they're going to say, hey, you know, JP Morgan and all the rest, right? Oh, they've been around, you know, they've custodied billions and billions of dollars, and it's been safe, and they're regulated, and we can monitor, and your funds and your assets are safe with us. It's all part of the plan. And it's crazy because they think we're naive and they think we're dumb, but we're not. We see it. And I'm so thankful we have platforms like this to spread the truth. The master narrative isn't controlling everything anymore. People's history and people's stories and the truth is out there now. We got to continue to educate ourselves and fight to the best of our abilities. I mean, obviously us being small investors, small YouTubers and small voices, you know, we got to band together so that voice is louder, right? That movement is stronger. It's crazy. This is from Matt Lawman. So look at this. It says, according to CoinDesk, Gary Gensler just stated that he believes SC has jurisdiction to make rules concerning custody of, quote, all of investors' assets, not just their funds or securities. Chairman Gensler he should be, I don't understand how he can literally look at himself in the mirror. I mean, he's literally going to go down in history. And you know what? Clearly he don't care. He's trying to get, you know, his resume to be built a certain way so he can, you know, get the treasury job, or, you know, all these speculations that's been out there. Like, who cares what he's trying to do, right? That's what he's trying to do. It's just shameful that this is a United States representative who's supposed to be setting out and looking out the best interest for the people, right? We're funding his seat, his life, you know, his job, and he's doing everything for offshore. I'm just going to say that. We're going to say out of United States people and entities and the incumbents. It's crazy. It makes me think a lot about when Big Boy Crypto, Ben Armstrong, he went on that rage about, I'm here to help you guys. They don't care about you. It's the same thing for Chairman Gensler. He does not give a F about us. And it's quite evident and it's blatant. He had a chance and an opportunity to do the right thing. He was highly welcomed in from the likes of, Ripple and Brad Garland House and the XRP community and other communities. Like, we saw a little bit of light in, what he was preaching at MIT. But he came in and he dropped the ball. He didn't want to do the right thing. He just followed the same narrative that him and his masters, if you will, his puppeteers or his master was telling him to do. It's just sad, man. Just seeing that face, man. It's just like, dude, you're literally affecting and ruining a lot of lives, man. It's crazy. Coming over here, this Eleanor Chair says, a hearing by the new Digital Assets Subcommittee will hold its first hearing March 9th, titled Coincidence or Coordinated. Really let that sink in. Coincidence or coordinated? I mean, that should literally be like on every post, on every video that's put out on, people that are covering, litigation, SEC, crypto in general, because is it really coincidental or is it coordinated? I mean, I'm leaning towards coordinated. I mean, everything that we've seen and the evidence that has been presented, it's all coordinated, man. These guys they're not dumb. Just like we ain't dumb. They're not dumb. They've been doing all this for decades, right? They're trying to control the narrative so they can have control. Remember, the rich get richer. That's just real. Whether you think so or not, it's a reality. The administration attack on the digital asset ecosystem. Congress pushing back on the Biden administration actions against the crypto industry. Yeah, we're still waiting for that new day. So it is what it is. This is a 5-minute video that Tim had put up. It's a great segment from Brad Garland House, but I think I'm going to play the 2-minute clip later. But I highly recommend you come in and view this video that Tim put up. This is John Deaton in Crypto Law responding to it. He says he's right, and it's been true since the beginning. Now everyone sees what so many XRP holders saw the moment they read the complaint and heard the SEC was alleging. Quote, this case is unique. So let's take a quick listen into this little 2-minute segment here from Digital Asset Investor.
SEC bringing the case against Ripple was not really just a case about Ripple or about XRP. It's really about the industry and how the SEC is kind of playing offense and attacking the whole industry. 2.5 years ago when this started, I'm not sure everyone fully digested that, and now that is widely understood. This is going to be pivotal for the whole industry, because if the SEC is able to prevail, I think there's a lot of other cases, and some of them just in the last 4 weeks, I think they brought 5 additional enforcement cases. The macro headline for me is this is not a healthy way to regulate an industry. Your regulation through enforcement, as opposed to where we're seeing in other countries where they're doing the work, right? They're codifying, they're creating a framework that allows an industry to grow while protecting consumers. And I think that's really what the U.S. is lagging. And to some degree why I'm here in Washington is to continue to try to evangelize and educate. Here's how these technologies can really benefit consumers, benefit industry.
Is what I'm hearing from you essentially, if the U.S. doesn't get its act together and move more quickly, all of this is going offshore. It's just going elsewhere.
Well, it already is. I mean, the sad reality is that the U.S. really is already behind. This is not behind countries that we haven't necessarily heard of. This is behind Australia and behind the U.K., Japan, Singapore, Switzerland. There's a lot of countries that have taken the time and thoughtfulness to create that clear rules of the road. By contrast, when I first got involved in the tech industry in the late 90s, some were saying the internet should be banned. They were saying, here's how the internet is being used for illicit purposes. But the U.S. government said, no, we're going to create a framework. And that allowed entrepreneurs, that allowed investors to come in and look at the benefits to the United States on a geopolitical basis to have the Amazons and Googles based and headquartered in the United States. We're at, I think, severe risk of having that not happen in this next evolution of technology around blockchain and crypto. It has already started moving outside the United States. And also the consumers are suffering because of that, because you don't have the same protections that the U.S. regulatory frameworks can provide.
What would a good framework look like in your view?
Well, look, I think what you're seeing right now is the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And not everything here is a nail. And I think any framework has to start with clear protections for consumers, but then to thoughtfully understand that these aren't always going to be securities. Some of them are used as currencies. That is, having an efficient process to trade, exchange, move those things would be much harder in a world if they were regulated as securities.
I mean, he's just so crisp and clean with his responses. And the reality is, man, is even if we don't get, as John Deaton says, any true regulatory clarity and precedent and just regulations in general within the crypto space till late 2025, it's like, why can't we get something in place right now? Have like some intern regulations and see how it works. And if you need to make the adjustment, then make the adjustment when you get there. But like, why aren't we getting things in place so people know how to operate moving forward? I mean, why are we just kind of leaving people in purgatory and limbo, guessing, and then you're dropping lawsuits on them? I mean, it's really simple, and the SEC and these regulators aren't dumb. Like they can be applying these things, they know that, but they're not. That's the problem. And then Congress isn't even stepping up. They're writing letters and saying all these great words and having these great speeches, but they're not really taking action from our understanding, at least. It's crazy, man. People's lives are being affected. It's tragic. I'm going to end on this one from Ben Armstrong. It says, after spending all day meeting with congressional offices yesterday, I can tell you one thing is extremely clear. I am the only person representing retail interest in DC. The industry is very well represented. I'm trying to make sure you are too. So, shout out Big Boy Crypto. Obviously he has the platform. He's worked his butt off to build the platform he has. He has a strong voice. He has a strong following, and he has the knowledge and awareness as to what's going on. He's making connection and he's doing his part. Obviously, depending on how you feel about him, it's really interesting. If he's finding the good fight, like he's showing he has been. I mean, he's the one that really exposed, FTT, FTX, Sam McMurphy and the likes. I mean, he's obviously trying to do the right thing, right? So shout out him, man. Show him mad love and support him in any possible way that you can. Here's a crazy thing is he's really the only person representing us. Man, obviously we have John Deaton and representing XRP holders, which then again can affect the entire industry, right? In this class action lawsuit and the the Ripple versus SCK stuff, right? But the thing is, though, is when he says the industry is well represented, it reminds me of what David Schwartz said I think it was like last week, where he was saying, we're going to be stuck in a hard place of choosing between, our vision and the company, right? And, we may have to come down to the decision where we close the door behind us. I mean, the hard reality is these for-profit companies, they got to be for their investors and their company, right? They're not really thinking, even in the Ripple versus SC case, they're not necessarily fighting for the XRP holders. And that's just the reality. Without John Deaton, we're not represented. So he has a point here. Like, if we only have a small set of representation, it's highly important, the work that's being done in that area. We're important. I mean, we make a large portion of this industry. And it's tragic that we don't have more representation. So shout out Ben Armstrong. Right here, we're sitting at if I refresh this, looking at CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $1.12 trillion market cap, and the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is sitting at neutral at 51. Hang in there, guys. It's, we're just going to have to continue to wait and kind of see what happens. Keep getting involved, keep spreading awareness, spreading the information that's on Twitter and on YouTube, show support and love to YouTubers like myself and obviously the big YouTubers out there, and just do your part. If you really care about this space, you really care about your ability to invest and change the financial course of your life for you and your family, then get involved. I mean, that's why I made this channel. I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to, talk about news, talk about, things in the crypto space that I'm interested in, and just be, a person that's just real, a father of two, just talking about real life stuff and how I feel about things. Get involved. Make sure you come to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Crypto's Key 1. Really appreciate your support out there, you guys. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.